Well, good morning, everybody. Here we're on Thursday, day after another great prayer meeting, which started off really weird because with all the ice last night, it was hard for people to get here. Some couldn't get here, and most who could get here arrived really late. But it was well worth it because we've been battling a principality and not even aware of it. And last night there was a clearinghouse. Last night there was a realization of what was going on, a bunch of declarations, and a really clearing out, new fresh wind and fresh fire coming in, and it was really great. Yeah, we took on some things last night. We dealt with some things, and it was just a refreshing this morning. And we're reading Genesis 35 to 37 today. And there is a progress going on here, and I don't know if you're picking it up, but there's as God is revealing more of himself to Jacob, there's a maturing process that's going on. And maybe for you and me, as we look at this, we're not seeing a lot, but there's things going on that aren't written, and often the weaknesses are revealed in a person, and the strengths are ignored. And Jacob is changing. He's constantly having these encounters with God. And here we find God calls him to Bethel to come and worship, to come and build an altar and worship there. And Jacob accepting this invitation to come, and God revealing himself as El Shaddai, God Almighty. Before it was a God of his fathers, Abraham and Isaac, and now it's his God, and he receives all the promises that Abraham had received. It has been passed down to him, and he cleans up his act as he's called to worship at Bethel. He cleans up his act. He commands everybody in his family, get rid of your idols, get rid of the rings, everything that represents any other god, just get rid of it. Because we know that when we accept the invitation to come and worship God Almighty, El Shaddai, there can be no other gods. There can't be. And his sons, like we have this idea that the parents are always the same. Always the same. And just as a child doesn't stay the same, a parent doesn't stay the same. There is a growth and a progress. And some of you may not. I'm in a unique and privileged position of having almost 30 years between my oldest and my youngest. So I understand the progress of a parent. And some of you have had your children very close together. You've had two or three, and you know there's a difference between how you treat the second one compared to the first one, and if you have a third one, how you treat that one compared to the older two. Now imagine having 12, and the progress that happens. It's not a slacking that happens. It's a growing. It's a maturing. It's learning from mistakes. It's coming into a better revelation of what it is to parent, what's important, what isn't important. How do you help this kid to rise up into all their potential? And it comes. There's a maturity. There's a growing, and this is what's happened with Jacob. Not perfect. None of us are, and as he's progressing, we see a difference between the older boys and Joseph. Joseph is a dreamer. Joseph is accepting that there's more, that he's not stuck with looking after the sheep, and that there's more. He's dreaming of more. The older ones were stuck with a father who couldn't see beyond himself, who was selfish, self-centered, was a trickster, used everything he could to further himself, and this is what his boys pick up on. But now Jacob is at the point where he's become a dreamer. He's having conversations with God. He's setting up altars. He's worshiping. He's seeing angels. He's seeing that there's more than what everybody else is seeing around him. And that gets transferred to Joseph, so that Joseph gets to this point of being a dreamer, of seeing more. He's having visions, and even though his father doesn't appreciate those visions, it's his fault that Joseph's having them, because he's passed this on to him. The older boys are just stuck. All they see is a kid who keeps getting them in trouble, and so they follow their father's earlier character, his earlier traits, not picking up on the changes that are happening to Jacob. Yeah, so that's all going on there. We have to understand, we can't stop progressing. We have to understand that we are constantly, it's a progression, and even yeah, there's my finger. even if our children have grown, we still have opportunity to influence them. If we've changed, if we've received better revelation, if we understand God better, if we're portraying something better, we're still in a position of being able to influence our children. So that's what I want to encourage you. Don't think that you've blown it and it's too late. It's never too late. It's never too late. But don't stop growing. Don't stop pursuing. Don't stop learning. Don't stay stuck. Don't think that you've reached adulthood and everything's okay and now you know everything. And it's a lifelong of learning. It's a lifelong of change. We're constantly changing. Don't let other people freeze you. Don't let your children freeze you into what you were 20, 30 years ago. You're more than that now, and you're continuing to progress. So be blessed. Be encouraged today. Seek the Lord and see what He would have you do today. God bless.